Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we are throwing caution to the wind, and we are just playing straight up aggro burn, black-red. We have really powerful black creatures, Moonshadow and Nethergoyf and Orcish Bowmasters, and we have tons of red burn spells, Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, Lava Spike, Fire Blast, and we've got Dragon Rage Channeler, which is just insane. It's shredding through your deck, filling up your graveyard for Nethergoyf, triggering Moonshadow repeatedly, and it's a 3/3 flying attacker as early as turn 2. It's incredible. So in the previous iterations of this deck, I'd kind of been a little more conservative, maybe play some Thoughtseize, play some Wastelands, stuff like that, but we're not doing anything like that right now. The only kind of even semi-controlled card we're playing here is Orcish Bowmasters, and even that is a form of direct damage and 2 bodies that can potentially overwhelm an opponent. And we are playing 2 Fire Blasts. In the past, I played 1, but I realized a lot of times when I was bobbling people like they were about to stabilize, and if I just drew one of the Fire Blasts, I could win. So I decided to go ahead and go up to 2. But you definitely don't want to draw more than one of these. And because we have a total of like 12 air spells that just replace themselves, the Baubles and the Street Wraith, well, we probably don't want to run 3 because then we'll likely find a second one. So I decided 2 is the right amount here, and we went down to 2 Lava Spike, even though I love this art so much. And then in the sideboard, it's very simple. Are we up against a graveyard strategy? Let's bring in Leyline. Are we up against an artifact strategy or a Chalice deck? Let's bring in Smash the Smithereens. By the way, with Orcish Bowmaster and Fire Blast, we can potentially outflank a Chalice on 1. It is not likely, but it is possible. I think that's better than trying to play a card like Molten Collapse, which is very situational. And then if we go up against a blue deck like Tamio, Show and Tell strategies, Doomsday, any sort of tempo deck, we can bring in Pyroblast. We can just take out some of our burn spells, and we can settle in for a slightly longer game and a slightly more interactive game. And then for Nethergoyf, which is a very powerful creature that invalidates a lot of our aggression plan, we can bring in Fatal Push. These can also come in against like the Mardu Tokens Ocelot Pride deck, or against Cradle Control if we need additional removal, although Bowmaster is quite good removal against that deck because they have a lot of X1s. We're going to play a full 5 rounds. As always, I've already got a trophy league with this live, and I've got 2, like a double league where I brew and iterate on my design, and this is my current version, and this is by far the most reckless version I've played, but I'm very excited about it. Let's see if we can kill some people quickly. All right, we've got a great hand. Unfortunately, we're unlikely to actually be able to do anything. Our opponent just broke through. If you're unfamiliar with this, our opponent is on Dredge, and that means they are about to draw 4 cards, then basically put their entire hand into their graveyard, which will almost certainly result in like some insane Dredge pile. It's rare that I see people do this turn 1, but their entire hand is in their graveyard. So we see they have Cabal Therapy, they've got Golgari Thug, which can, they don't actually, like, they can dredge, but they don't have anything else they're doing, and it's only a dredge 4. So this isn't the worst. We might be able to race this. I am very much looking forward to putting Leyline of the Void in my deck. Okay, so here, what we're going to do, we're just going to get a giant Moonshadow, and we're going to try to race them. So we can do pretty big Moonshadows. By the way, I may not have mentioned this in the deck tech, but I am fully no reserve list. You can build this deck for like $500. Because we're playing Shocklands, and it very rarely comes up. Usually if it comes up, you were going to lose that game anyway. Okay, so now we can just cycle these. I might be able to find a Lotus Petal as well to cast one of my other threats. My opponent said, "Hi, YouTube." So everybody say hi, Red Velvet. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this again. Chain Lightning. All right, let's go ahead and look at their non-existent hand. I'm just going to draw through this. It doesn't actually matter. I could wait, but I should know. I need these cards to keep going. I think it's extremely unlikely they interact with me. So Fire Blast is pretty cool because we can maybe flame them out with that and just deploy our mana very efficiently here. They're drawing an Underground Sea. What does that enable? It doesn't matter what they're drawing because they're almost certainly just going to dredge here. All right, so let's get our new cards. They may therapy us if they can get a guy into the yard, but they may keep like those around as blockers. Okay, so we have another Street Wraith. It's a pity we're not playing Death Shadow with how many cards we drew. Okay, so they got a Golgari Grave Troll. Okay, so That's it. That's not good for them. So they are going to be able to dredge again next turn, but we're going to hit them for a lot in the meantime. If we can find a red source, can we kill them? 7 plus 6. Okay, so let's think about this. I definitely want to fetch first, just to minimize likelihood of drawing a land. I'll get a Blood Crypt. We're like fully leveled up here. Just pay the life. Okay, so we should go ahead and look at what we find. So 7 plus 6 plus 4 is not quite lethal. Let's see. 7, 13, 17. They'd be at 2. I think it's probably safer to play a Nethergoyf than to Fire Blast quite yet. Because we can Fire Blast next turn. I think I'm actually going to play both of these. And then I'll just hold the bolts. And then we can flame them out. They may not be able to kill us. Okay, let's come across for 7. There's no way that I could have taken them off Cephalid Coliseum. And this way, it's a lot harder for them to kill us this turn cycle. Because these Nethergoyfs are at least going to block a little bit. And it's possible they do something that costs them life. I don't think it's likely. So I think they're going to probably Golgari Grave Troll here. Oh, they drew? They organically drew a card. Interesting. Because they have Volk. They can flashback Otherworldly Gaze. They're very dead on board. They're going to use... Oh, they're going to use this. Okay. So that's fine. How dead are we? They've been LED. There's a Poxwalkers and an Archimedes. So they can get Poxwalkers out of the yard. We don't quite have them dead to burn here. They will almost certainly therapy us once, maybe twice. And, oh, I can Fire Blast my own dude to stop the trigger. I'll Fire Blast my own dude to stop the trigger. I know that sounds extreme, but that way they don't get the Bridge from Below tokens, right? I don't know that this works. I'm going to try it. This puts an instant in the yard, though, so it does grow them, so they won't die. Ugh. Yeah, actually, it doesn't work, I don't think. Yeah, I think they've got this unless we draw, another burn spell. So we're probably not going to be able to do that because we're about to lose our entire hand here. They've got Cabal Therapy there. They may name Fire Blast if they're familiar with the video. They name Lightning Bolt. Okay. That's a whiff, but they are going to flash it back here and get more tokens. Yeah, this is rough. And if I had bolted them a bunch, we probably still wouldn't be able to win. Yeah, it's really rough that the way damage works, they would have seen that. I'm just going to let them take Fire Blast because I want to be able to double bolt them next turn and maybe punch a hole. I don't think it's likely that I'll be able to do that. So I think they took the organic draw and they got lucky and drew the Volk. They needed that. I don't think they would have been able to get very far if they just dredged 6. So I want to compliment my opponent. I think that was absolutely the correct play. They had to get lucky, basically. Okay, they took our Fire Blast. Now they have 0 discard, so they are going to take 6. Orcish Bowmaster is pretty good. Orcish Bowmaster's pinging itself stops the Bridge from Belows. Let's think about this. First things first, I am going to go ahead and play this out. Chain Lightning. That's a good card. Does it grow our Goyfs? It does, but I can just... yeah, actually, I'm going to do that because I grow them, and then I'll just hold on to the burn. Because I want to get my Bowmaster on the table. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to attack everything, and they're going to have to chump a lot of stuff, and they'll lose most of their zombies, I think. But these are non-token creatures. They're not going to trigger Bridge from Below. And they know that they've got a lot of burn coming. Was there a way that I could have stopped them? I don't think so. They're going to let 5 through. I'm going to wait and do this in my upkeep. That way... Let's see, Otherworldly Gaze. They could cast it from graveyard, but what I want them to do is maybe mill if they have another bridge before I do the Bowmaster trick. And what I'm going to do is kill Bowmaster so that they don't have that anymore. So this is fine. They take a bunch of damage. So we will have a single blocker to save us from death. And so if they have a hasty beat, we might die. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and set the draw step. That way they can't pass priority and Cabal Therapy us again. They can, but they won't get creatures for it. So I imagine this is just Dredge, Golgari, Grave Troll. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is take a look at what they milled here. They've got Otherworldly Gaze. They got 2 more Narcomoebas, which are fine, but I don't want them to be able to do anything with them. They did get a Cabal Therapy. So I am going to go ahead and just... but they didn't hit another... Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this now. And they do have a mountain, so they could find anger and get haste, but I still don't think they'll be able to. Well, they might be able to kill us. Let's see. They attack for. Okay, so the bridges go away. Now you've got an Archemy, but you can shred our hand. But we've got a lot of inbound. Okay. So we're at 8. So if they swing, they're dead. They have to kill. They can hang this back as a blocker, and they could, in theory, stop like everything coming on in. But I can just bolt one of those out of the way, and then I think I can Lava Spike and Chain Lightning. So they do want to cast Cabal Therapy here, but it is not going to... Well, yeah, actually, they can cast Cabal Therapy with Poxwalkers, but then they lose the Poxwalkers. Because it comes into play tapped, which basically means it's not even in play, is kind of one way of looking at it. This is a really interesting game. And already Bowmasters is proven clutch. Like, I played a league without it, and I 3-2'd it, and it went really well, but I was missing that punch, that kind of like top end. And it may sound crazy to say a 2-drop is a top end, but that is the case in Legacy right now. Like, a lot of decks, there used to be the saying that, like, if you're going to play a 3-drop, it better win you the game immediately, and like Show and Tell does, right? And that's kind of where we are right now. Okay, so they just took a blocker out of commission to take one of our burn spells. They'll take Chain Lightning here, I bet. They said, never mind. NVM. Yeah, we got it. That was incredible. All right, so Leyline, get in the deck. That is the reason for having Leyline on your board, is pretty much this matchup and oops. So cards that are not as important. Lava Spike, I don't think is important. We can shave a land on the draw. That may result in Mana Screw. It's totally possible. But we're going to be mulliganing a lot. I'm going to mulligan. Like, I've mulliganed to 2 to get a Leyline of the Void to beat Dredge, and I won that game. So, and that has happened. That was on film. I can't remember what deck I was playing, but it does happen sometimes. And it also happens, I think I mulliganed to 1 and didn't find it. That happens less than 3% of the time with the London Mulligan. If we're shaving a land, we could shave a Fire Blast. No, wait, we don't. Yeah, we do want to shave one more thing. I'll do that. Because it's extremely unlikely we get 4 lands in play to use the second Fire Blast. But I do think it's fine if we draw 1. Okay, this is a keep. This is pretty good. But again, we have to mulligan to Leyline. That's right. This would be a great hand if it had a Leyline. Let's mulligan. Our opponent's mulligan to 6. No Leyline, no keep. It's as simple as that. And you may be like, that's kind of weird. Like, that's kind of crazy. Look at how explosive your hand is. It does not matter. Just trust me. You want to Leyline all the way, or mulligan all the way to the Leyline. And we could get completely screwed here. This is unlikely that we wouldn't see a Leyline. There's the Leyline. Okay, we'll keep this. So we have to put back 4 cards. We'll put back Fire Blast. I'll put back... The card that is most effective at actually getting us out of our predicament is DRC. All right, so we'll start with the Leyline in play. And you have to... It's like the madman theory of politics or whatever. Like, you basically, you have to make people feel like fear that you'll actually do something that crazy. And they probably have Disruption in their deck somewhere. Okay, that's a pretty good draw because that allows us to fetch, and then we can surveil at the pedal. So we're going to bring in Crypt, and we're going to play this out. And we're already halfway to Delirium. 3/4 of the way. Yeah, that'll go to the yard. All right. And if we start attacking, they get like, with a fetch, maybe 2 fetches, they get like 6 turns basically to do what they want to do. Okay, so they're going to surveil here. Most likely, yeah. Really, they are digging for their answer to Leyline of the Void, which is probably just like Boomerang basics. But they're reducing their total number of cards here and putting stuff in the Void. I mean, it's not great, but this is likely going to get bounced back to our hand. We could, in theory, recast it. Like, it might be worth holding these pedals just in case, because the answer they're going to have in blue-red is almost certainly going to be bounce. I'm going to go ahead and do this. This gets Delirious, and it lets us check their top card. That is not good enough, in my humble opinion. I'm looking for land to redeploy Leyline of the Void. I think that's really all we need to worry about here. I am tempted to just do this just to get Delirium and get 2 more damage. Yeah, sorry, I'm going to do it. Yeah, and like my theory is we just need to end the game before they find their answer. They're already at 16. Like, if it takes them a while to find the boomerang, they may have already found it, but we have to live in a world where they're so hobbled by this that they can't catch up. Okay, and they're just passing here, it looks like. Boomerang Basics is an instant, a sorcery. Okay, this is good. So this is a second threat. So if they had like some sort of bounce spell, they would have used it. I don't think they're playing the Gift of Fish thing anymore. I think Boomerang Basics is just better, but I could be wrong. They may instep Gift of Fish here to get it out of play. Okay. So like any instant would be fantastic. Any non-creature. This is not terrible. Okay. So that goes straight to the yard and that buffs our Moonshadow. And now we're attacking for 5. And we're a little closer to casting cards like Bowmasters now. We can do that. Fire Blast is on again. Is on now. We have one of those in the deck. So again, like I completely will always like, this matchup can be played by a computer, basically, a computer algorithm, because you just always mull the ley line. I genuinely believe that is the case. I will mull to 1 in search of the ley line. Yep, we did it. That is how you beat Dredge. Ley Line of the Void. All right, we're up against Match, who I've played a few times. Most recently, I believe, on Blue-Black Tempo. Oh, yeah. I mean, this is double Moonshadow hand with Street Wraith. I'm going to keep this. We're just you just have to throw caution to win. You might look at this hand and be like, there's no land there. Wait a second. Did you notice this is no lander? Yes, I know it's a no lander. It's just, that's how you play this deck. And it's so antithetical to my typical style. Like if you watch my Beans play in my Beans decks, my control decks, like I consider myself a pretty restrained, patient Magic the Gathering gamer. I think I'm not going to play it out yet because I don't want them to force this, and they might if they see the pedal. So this one is going to get cracked, and then we're going to play Moonshadow number 2. Always yield. Now Moonshadow number 2's out. Now we Street Wraith. So we've got 5 power on the table already. Do we draw land? We draw land. I'm actually... Yeah, I'll just pay the life and I'll go ahead and just Lava Spike them. Just let them be mana efficient. I might not get another land and I don't want them to be able to day stuff. All right. It's a pretty good turn. And here, if they waste me, they're going to take 5 or 7, so they're heavily incentivized to do something that Moonshadow of their own. Love it. All right. And they don't have a second body. Okay. So I think the play here is Raucous Theater first. I definitely don't want that land. That goes in the graveyard. We grow the squad. I do think we just Chain Lightning here just to get this out of the way before it grows. They could have double. Okay, it sees itself out on its way out, and then we hit for 7. Okay. They're 10. If we draw another... I could have just bolted him, and that was a turn 3, but maybe that was wrong. Maybe I should have just ignored the Moonshadow, because it can't block my Moonshadows. They may have Bowmaster here to double block one of them. Ping and double block. Give me a permanent that goes to the yard, please. That will work. That'll do, pig. That'll do. All right, and now we'll just go to combat. I'll wait till after blocks are declared to crack the pedal. Yeah, we just won. We just steamrolled. This deck is so aggro. Okay, so against Moonshadow, I'm going to bring in Ley Lines again. It may sound weird, but they're almost certainly using their graveyard here a lot. And I'm kind of inclined to take out Nethergoyf, and the reason for that is Nethergoyf is dead against Leyline, and I think the pattern I picked up is you should have Leyline in your deck, and you should probably mulligan to it against these Moonshadow decks, just as a precaution. We're not playing Barragoyf, which I have been in awkward situations where both people have Leylines, and then Barragoyf is a 0/1 as well, so that works fine. I actually can't remember if they played a second land. I don't think they did. Yeah, they may have played another. I think they just scoop without showing us. They may have a splash color. We'll see. But yeah, taking out Nethergoyf, that does reduce our threat count, but we have Bowmasters. I'm unafraid. So I really do want a Leyline hand if I can. This is an easy mulligan because it doesn't do anything. You always want a threat. Burn is not enough. They kept 7. This is a keep. This is a snap keep. So I'll just put back Theater. Play out the Leyline. Do you have a Leyline? I guess not. And it may be that they're not that heavy on Moonshadow. We'll see if they get blue here. Just black. But if they have Nethergoyf, Moonshadow, any of that stuff, it's going to suck now. Okay, this is pretty cool. So I'm going to play this out. Ouch. Play this out. I will go ahead and... I can't imagine there's some sort of... Yeah, I'll play this out first, and then I'll just Moonshadow. And that way, like, I can trigger twice if they have some sort of dual 1 damage, like Dark Blast type effect. I'm just going to go ahead and bobble them now. Always yield. Okay, they're going to Fatal Push here. Or they're going to Dark Ritual. Interesting. So they might Bowmasters here. Okay, and then I can just crack the pedal. This is what I was talking about. They are going to get the pedal. So I'll just pay black here. Okay. And if they just wanted to waste my pedal, they've succeeded. So I am going to draw a card, but this will be big enough that it won't die. And I'll have a pretty big blocker here. Can't do anything else. If they don't have a Wasteland, we do have Bowmasters for their Bowmasters next turn. Bowmasters is a very... Oh, they do have the Fatal Push. Okay. So we got a ball game. We've got a ball game. Okay, so we get our card, and that grows their army. And it's a bad card, unfortunately. But I will probably just fetch another Blood Crypt here rather than... So I can start disrupting them a little bit more. Is this Douthie? Him. Okay, well, that's bad news. Okay, we kept the Bowmaster if we can find another land. But that does kind of suck because they've got a lot of pressure. They're doing a more control-y build than I am. DRC. It's still a 1-1, but I'm not going to wait. If they have another Bowmaster, the game's probably over. Land. Okay, they're going to come in. We'll just take it. They're not attacking with the... Oh, yeah, they are. All right, that's fine. I'm not going to block. I've got a lot of draws that get me Delirium here. But the best draw is just a land. Fatal Push, that's fine. That does not give me Delirium if I find another one. Okay, we're spinning out here. It's not good. But if we do find a land, we're in a good position. We've got one card left in their hand. They're going to Surveil. And again, like, it looks like this didn't have any impact here that we can see. But the first hand we saw was a mulligan anyway, so I don't think it hurts to have this in your deck just in case it's in a keepable hand. There's Barry. I think the game's over. Unfortunately, Barry does see my graveyard, and he is pretty big. Yeah, good game. Okay. So, and yeah, Barry, the way it works is like they mill, and it mills into the void, but they still get to choose something. Okay, so they are bigger than I thought. I think the Fatal Pushes come in. I'm going to take out the Ley Lines completely, and I'll bring back in a Nethergoyf. I am still going to respect the fact that they could have Leyline. No, I'm going to take out the Lava. Yeah, I'll do this. I mean, like, if they Leyline me, it sucks, but they did mull pretty aggressively to find that, hopefully. Hopefully they didn't just have it. This is fine. It's not spectacular. I'm going to keep it, and then I can Street Wraith, and hopefully they don't have a Bolt. Huh. I would like to Moonshadow turn 1, if possible. So the Street Wraith will be the cost of doing business there. What are the odds that we find something, though? If we wait, we can just do all this next turn. Yeah, I'm just going to wait. So I'll bin that. And then if I can always like, if I get this out and we get to tech him up twice, that'll be pretty good. They might have another Dark Ritual hand. There's a Moonshadow. Currently boltable. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I am going to go ahead and play this out. Now I'm going to fetch. Always yield. And they're going to have double... they'd actually have to have triple Street Wraith to survive this. So let's grab this. I'll pay the life. I'm going to play this out first. Just in case they have some... I don't know what they would have. And I'm going to go ahead and bobble them now. And I'll hold the Street Wraith one more turn. Because, like, they might Thoughtseize me or something, and, like, they probably wouldn't take that, but they might take, like, a Bolt. Okay, they have Dark Confidence. I love Dark Confidence. It's such a cool card. Unfortunately for them, Bowmaster has got Dark Confidence number. We'll draw the card. Okay, it's another land. It's not terrible. I mean, it can fetch Surveil and potentially trigger Moonshadow twice, but it's not a great card. And since we have Fire Blast, I guess it's not too bad. Okay, so they seem to have a Bowmaster here. So I will just have to wait till the end step to use my Bowmaster. I love having the second Bowmaster here. I'm going to go ahead and come across and just see what happens. So we're going to blocks. Okay. And I can deal with like Oppo Agent if that's what they have. Like Dark Ritual Oppo Agent. All right. Chain Lightning is... I don't like it. I like more threats. Since we have Bowmaster covered. I could bait out the Bowmaster with the Street Wraith. And then I could just bolt it. I don't actually hate that. Because I do want to do more damage. Okay. So they didn't have it after all. All right. Well, we'll just pass. Feeling pretty good. Oh, they have Fatal Push. Yeah, that sucks. Okay. All right. All right. We got Netherglyph in our deck. And Netherglyph will be huge at this point if we find one. There's a Badlands. Are they playing Pyroglyph? Uh-oh, is this freaking... Okay, this is not a big deal. I've got this covered. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. I love this card. I don't think you can play it alongside Snuff Out, which I think most like more control-y black decks should probably be playing Snuff Out. Right now, it's a really good card. I'll hold my Bowmaster. I'm not going to get jumpy with it. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and black for Moonshadow. Then I'll just come across for just a little bit here. What are the chances that they actually do have Oppo Agent? I mean, I could technically kill it with Fire Blast, but that would still be pretty ugly. I think I'm going to go ahead and fetch now. I'll just get a ETB tap land. All right. So Moonshadow is out of Bowmaster range. We don't have to worry about Oppo. They have 5 cards in hand, though. If they him us, then I can just empty my hand. I'm not casting anything, which is scary. Because, like, what do they have? I'm going to go ahead and play this. It's pretty big. Now, I'm going to come across. They may have Bowmasters, which I will just deal with. Okay, there's the Bowmasters. It's going to ping my Bowmasters, most likely. Oh, it's pinging that. So now I can just go to combat, like blocks, and then I can take out the take out one of the blockers. Let's see how they block. They may have a second Bowmasters. They do have 4 mana out. I mean, surely you're going to block my Moonshadow, right? I'll just ping this guy, and then this will grow. They do have another one, don't they? Okay, so I'll let it come in. All right, so I do have to go ahead and Fire Blast them here. And then these will trade. This dies. This will continue to exist, but it's okay. I think I can keep my Bowmasters around, but I think it's fine to just do 4 to their face. I've already got another Bowmasters. Yeah, I'm going to do this. This grows the Moonshadow to 3. So it'll survive the ping. They'll take 3 here. That dies. These 2 die. Okay, I think that was a pretty good turn overall. We can't bring back Netherglyph if they are able to push it now, because we just don't have the mana because of the Fire Blast, but it worked out. If they have the Baraglyph now, it's backbreaking. It's absolutely brutal. And that is a card that's in their range that's not in mine. We got it. 2-0. All right, we're up against Ocean Soul. I just played this player like an hour ago in my my warm-up league, and they greeted me with a frowny face because they don't want to play against this deck. Likely still on blue-black tempo. This is a one-laner, but it does have the pedal. I think the double Fire Blast is pretty rough. I think we could do better than this. Normally I would say otherwise, but the fact that this Fire Blast is completely dead in our hand, and it's a one-laner, and they have they're a Wasteland Daze deck, this is better. I'm actually going to put back the Fire Blast, I think. No, I'll put back Lava Spike. I'll put back Lava Spike here, just because it like reducing their life total. Like, Fire Blast can kill some big creature or like an early Tomio or something if absolutely necessary. But usually you want this to be the last spell you cast of the game. They're fetching. This might be like a Thoughtseize. Okay, Tomio. We can invalidate her with Bowmasters, but they have their own Bowmasters. Bowmasters, of course, being the best, really the best black creature ever printed, in my humble opinion. So let's think about this. They are very likely to daze us. If I play 2 cards, it's representing Bowmasters, but I wasn't actually playing Bowmasters in the league before. They may not know what it is, but like they should read, oh, they've got Bowmasters. I'm going to go ahead and play this out and just draw. Do I want information from their deck, or do I want to just fix my own draw? I think I want to fix my own draw. But let's just put it this way. If they have Brainstorm and they don't have Daze, we can absolutely blow them out. Yeah, I'm just going to look at their card, and I'll just hope that my top card is good. They're drawing another Tomio. Okay. Well, that's not a good draw at this point. Because, well, like, this is almost certainly going to die if they attempt to Brainstorm. So we get a card. It is an okay card. They're going to come in. I don't think that I fire this off in the end step. I think I have to wait. Just, like, I'm on the draw against a very strong, like, the best deck in the format, basically. My opponent said, shall I sideboard Null Rod? I'm just going to chill here. I don't even know what Null Rod is. It's not a reserve list card, is it? Okay, so here, Deadly, I think the play is we could bait out the Bowmasters if they have it. Yeah, that second Fire Blast. This is why I recommend only playing 2, because it's pretty terrible. Yeah, I'll play that out and I'll just chill. That way their Wasteland is not turned on. They're gonna instep crack, and then I'll just go get the thing and I'll ping them. And that will be the last time they get to draw probably. And I can do that around days. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this. And now they know about it and they can Bowmaster me back and stuff, but I think it's fine. I'm also taking a lot of damage here. So I'm like basically a Death Shadows deck with these Shocklands in play. And this is one of the matchups where it does potentially matter. All right, then they may have a force for this. Okay, so we're going to ping them here, and then I'll just ping them again. No point in pinging Tamio because they're not going to draw the third card that would kill Tamio. Now they know not to brainstorm with Tamio. We've got our pressure on the table, but again, that can be easily removed by their own Bowmaster, which they, I believe, play 4. Okay, they're going to Thoughtseize. Unfortunately, this shows them that we have Fire Blast. They're just going to take the Lava Spike. So, yeah, they paid 2 life and 1 black mana and a card to avoid 1 additional damage that they would have taken from the Lava Spike itself. Okay, so now they at least know about Fire Blast. They could waste us, and I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm not going to flinch. You want to waste me again? Make these not do anything? That's fine. That is a choice you can make. They're hanging back. Yeah, I mean, that's totally fine. So now we're looking for, oh, what do you know, a land. That's pretty good. I'll hide the fact that we have this land because they might just snap off a waste here. Actually, this is kind of unfortunate because this is like our second to last land. Do I want to draw this when I have double Fire Blast, or do I just want to not cast Fire Blast? I actually think that if they have another Wasteland, which it's improbable, yeah, I'm just going to just live in the world where we never Fire Blast. It's fine. I'll come with both, and then they'll have to block this, and then, yeah, that's fine. So we're not in a good position here because they have Murktide that could come out and be devastating. All right. Well, they're going to see how wrong it was to waste us here. I am going to go ahead and play this out, and now we can surveil. Another Goyf to the yard allows us to bring it back next turn. We have 0 lands left in our deck, unfortunately. So the Wooded Foothills is only good for triggering. But we do have 4 card types, and we can bring this back for free. Let's see. Creature, artifact, sorcery, land. It would be too small. I'm going to keep it on top because I think it's above average. And we're the aggressors here. Like Aggressors of Dark Combat. Very awesome game from the 90s. Not if you paid full price for that at Toys R Us, you felt sad. I will just chill. I can't, like, Fire Blast literally has to be the last thing I do because I just don't have any more lands, but I can pretend I have more lands. Okay, they did draw this. They can start cluing, but that doesn't get them where they want to go. All right. They're not wasting us. They may have Beargoyf now. I'm going to play this out just to deter them because they probably think, oh, they've got another thing, but I actually don't. And if they force, I can just bring it back next turn with the Petal. All right, let's come across. Again, I expect them to have a Bowmasters by this point. And I'm aware that I could have Fire Blasted and cleared the Tamio, but then I don't have anything left. So I just need to ride this Nethergoyf to victory here. So I think they're just going to block. Maybe they just take the 2. I'll wait till they waste me and then I'll consider Fire Blasting, but I'm not going to Fire Blast willy-nilly. This is a pretty interesting game. My opponent's pretty high skill. I played against them many, many times. Okay, they have the other third land. Do they have the Beargoyf or the Murktide? Then we can just concede. Murktide is actually killable. They create a clue. They probably want to keep these Wastelands around to just help them crack clues. Ninjutsu. Nothing to be done about this. We can Fire Blast it next turn. It's probably going to stun here. That's fine. Okay, so we can bolt it to death if we find a bolt, but I don't want to use Fire Blast. Bobble. It does hurt us. I think I attack first just to see if they're willing to do something dramatic here. I think they'll just block with the Orc Army. And when they do, yeah, if they block, just chump with the Orc Army. Oh, they block like that? That works. Yeah, that's fine. And now I am kind of thinking about killing this, but they still have 5 cards and they have tons of mana. Yeah, I'm going to let that go and then I'll just bobble. I'm just going to... Gosh, this could totally run away with the game. If I use the Fire Blast, I literally have 1 mana left for the entire game. in the current stage of things. Let's take a look at their hand. They may have another Bowmaster in hand. They have another Tamio. We knew that they were going to draw that. I don't think we can Fire Blast this. I think we just need to chill. We'll see what we draw. If we draw a Bowmaster, it's pretty good. Another Bobble. So this is going to plus. It's going to attack. They're going to deploy the Tamio. Actually, I think that was... Did they ninjutsu Tamio back to hand? Yeah. This is the Tamio we saw was... They have at least one Tamio in hand. I think they may have two. Okay, they're plussing... Oh, they're surveilling. Okay. We don't have the Bowmaster to punish. The game is nearly over. We're very low in life. They ponder. They've been to days. Okay, their own Nethergoyf. That is death for us unless we find something spectacular here. Again, I want to emphasize, we're playing against the best deck in Legacy right now. And it's also the most represented deck. So be ready to play against it. They are going to go ahead and Fire Blast. I'm going to let it happen because Wasteland. So we can't Fire Blast because I at least want this mana in case I draw a Bowmaster. So this is actually not that terrible. I'll play this out. Then I'll Bobble. This might get the Force. They are likely holding a Force. Okay, so now we're going to do this. We just have to find a Bolt. If we draw it in our upkeep, that goes to the yard. If we draw the Bolt in the upkeep, we can just Bolt this, but like I think they'll likely have... Yeah, I don't want to show them that I don't have any more lands. So I'm not going to try... Yeah, they're drawing Bowmasters. I think this is pretty unwinnable. So when I get my Bobble card... Yeah, when I get my Bobble card, if it's a Bolt, like it has to be exactly Lightning Bolt, then I can Bolt this. And they may not daze thinking that I have another land, but I actually don't. Okay, come on. Bolt. Exactly Bolt. All right, that sucks. I can't do anything about that. Are we just dead on board? Oh, I can't Bolt this because it's got freaking Shroud during their turn. Yeah, good game. Well played. Okay, game 2. So against this deck, I'm just going to bring in, like... I mean, the Pyroblasts are good for obvious reasons. Fatal Push is necessary for Barragoyf. So, like, to some extent, we're slowing down quite a bit if we bring in all 4 Pyroblasts, but freaking Pyroblasts, like, it's an insane card. So is Fatal Push. And we just take out some burn. Like, I could definitely take out a Fire Blast here because they're going to be hitting our mana. We've got 4 more cuts to make. They're not going to be playing Leyline of the Void. Blue decks generally don't. Yeah, I think I'm just going to take the Fire Blast out completely. Maybe we just don't want Fire Blast against Wasteland decks because it's such a huge commitment. Like if we'd Fire Blasted at any point, we would have just lost, frankly. Because it wouldn't have ended the game and then we wouldn't have had any mana. So I like everything else. I like the creatures especially. I think we have to cut Chain Lightnings. Then it's very hard to get enough sorceries. But we can probably get Delirium through other means. I might just trim a Lightning Bolt instead of a Chain Lightning. Yeah, because they're not going to be able to bounce this back. It's sorcery speed, but it is a sorcery type. I think I'm going to do this. It does suck that we're going so low on burn. And they were basically just a bad version of their deck. But like Pyroblast, I mean, this is a matchup where you want Pyroblast. It deals with Tamio regardless of her state, like whether she's flipped or not flipped, whether she's on the stack. This is a turn 1 Moonshadow. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. And then we'll hope to find land. But even if we don't, we'll have a pretty big Moonshadow here. And I always lead with Moonshadow and then DRC, because DRC feeds the Moonshadow. Okay, that's in. So now we get to do disgusting things. Let's find a land. Come on, land. Not an EDB tap land. Okay, we did it. Check this out. This is going to be insane. This is going to be an insane show of the power of this deck. So we'll get our shock land here. Ouch. Now we'll play DRC. Dear old Darcy. Basis from Smashing Pumpkins. She's coming in. We don't need a petal here. We just want to like load up our graveyard as much as possible to grow the shadow. Let's go ahead and check their top to get some information here. Please don't have Fatal Push. Okay, they've got a land coming. I'm going to go ahead and play this one too. Always yield. I'm going to bin that. And Shadow is a 6/6. And now Shadow is going to be 7/7 because I'm going to just draw these cards immediately. Turn 1, 7/7, ladies and gentlemen. For anybody who's wondering if this is better than one of my other favorite cards, Stalactite Stalker. But frankly, you just can't go back to Stalker after you get Moonshadow. It's like going back to Mono after you listen to Stereo. All right, some more cards. Hopefully they don't waste us. But like they waste us, you know. That's fine. They're fetching. Hydroblast. That's fine. Moonshadow sees it die, but Moonshadow's like, alas, I can't get any bigger. I'm suffering from success. Okay, so here. Yeah, I'm just going to deploy the Nethergoyf. I'll swing first, though. And all these threats dodge, snuff out so nicely. And yeah, even if they like hit our graveyard, like I could probably rebuild from here. They could daze here, but then they're taking another 7 while they try to reestablish their board. They need Fatal Push stat. Bowmaster would stall for a little bit. Shieldred's Edict is not going to kill my Moonshadow. I'll just sack my Nethergoyf. They're dead on board, basically. Like, if I bolt them, they're dead. And even if they do clear my Moonshadow, I think they're going to die pretty quickly because Nethergoyf's going to hit for 4 after I bolted them. Even if the bolt gets countered. That's fine. That's fine. So I will just be patient and redeploy it. And I can grow it immediately, which is kind of sweet. Moonshadow, do you have a daze? You do. Okay, well, that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and cycle this just to see if I can get a land so I can bolt them. That's a good card. All right, we'll just come in for 3 here. They've done a good job of like slowing us down. Okay, and they can waste us here, and then we can't cast any spells. That doesn't grow our Goyf, unfortunately. Okay, now they've got a blocker. Drawing a lot of cards without seeing a second land. Come on, land. All right, well, I'm just going to keep coming across, and we may lose this one, unfortunately. Like, again, blue-black. If anything can beat a deck like this, it's blue-black tempo. It's just got all the tools. Now they can Merc. They're coming across. If they brainstorm, then they keep my Nethergoyf busy indefinitely. Come on, land. Okay, we'll just attack again. I don't think it's going to work out, though. Looks like they're going to do something in our begin combat step. This is a Bowmaster, perhaps. This is Shieldred's Edict. Feed the cycle. Okay, they did discard. They paid extra for... No, wait. They're discarding? Wait, how did they pay for that? As an additional cost to cast the spell, Forage. Let's see. Did they discard a card? This Hydroblast was used. Oh, they exiled 3 cards. Okay. Sorry, I misread it. I was just trying to like wrap my head around the card. I haven't seen it before. Okay, well, we're almost certainly dead. I mean, we could just draw a land and bolt them down, but it's unlikely at this point. They'll likely outdraw us. So our trophy run is going to come to crashing end here. They have the clue crack before they even do anything here. Okay, and they get another clue. Like Bowmasters is still good, but like it's not good because we just need 2 lands. Okay, the brainstorm, so they flip the Tommy. It's only like burn that can do it from here, I don't think. Like in fact, what I will probably do is if I find a land, I'm just going to start firing burn at them. I'm not going to mess with the creatures. Because basically my out is them not having a wasteland and me drawing. Let's see. I don't actually have that many burn spells in my deck though, unfortunately, because I took most of them out to make my deck fair. Come on, man. Blah, 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 blah. I think this is over. Yeah. We're just not going to win. Sorry. You've got better things to do than watch the Tomio subgame that we've all watched many times from first person. Right, round 4, we're up against a very experienced combo player who always plays sneak attack. This is against them, I don't really like this. I would like to get Bowmaster out. We need to move quickly against this deck. Like, they will win once they realize we're not a Daze Wasteland deck or a Daze Force Will deck. Okay, unfortunately, we got the theater twice. This does happen. This is the cost of playing these, but these are really good in other circumstances. I am going to mulligan this hand. Now we got way too many lands. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep, and I'll put back all the lands, and I'm going to keep the Scalding Tarn because it pretends I'm blue. And I'm just going to quickly bobble twice to get information. And we're just going to draw through those. And once, hopefully, like the Bowmasters does have an impact. They're drawing Emrakul, which is a dead giveaway. They're a combo deck. I'm pretty sure they're not going to try to get up to 15 mana. Okay, Scalding Tarn. So I have a Scalding Tarn of my own. I'm just going to play it out. I'm not going to bolt them yet because it just gives too much information. In the end step, I will Surveil. So we got a second land. Come on, just one land. Don't give me another one. All right, bobble. That's not good. But this does allow us to deploy Bowmasters. It's probably just not going to be fast enough, frankly. I didn't want to mold a 4 because their deck does have a fail rate, and I was like, maybe they'll hit their fail rate. Like, when I say fail rate, like where they don't just immediately win. If they have any recollection of me, I played them like dozens of times. They never say anything in chat, but like if they've played against me a lot, like they're frequently trophy leaders. Like, and they, like for the 2 years I've been on MTGO, they've never played a deck that wasn't like Stinking Show. Like they're completely committed to this deck. But my point is, like if they remember any of those matches and they're actually paying attention to who their opponent is, they should suspect I have blue in my deck. But unfortunately, I'm about to shatter that illusion right now because I actually think that's better than nothing. I'm going to keep it. Okay, so I'll just play this out, and I'm going to bobble again. I could bobble myself. That's probably more useful here. DRC is not delirious. With a Chain Lightning, she is delirious. I think that's the best we can do, frankly. I mean, the best we could do would probably be finding Fire Blast. Yeah, I'm going to chill. And I'll draw her, and next turn I can DRC plus Chain Lightning and also attack with Orcish Bowmasters. And again, I'm going to hope that they put a cantrip on the stack, but they may not. They may also have Veil. I'm telegraphing Bowmasters pretty hard, though. Okay, so this is my move. And in this matchup, like the fact that I'm playing Shocks is of zero consequence, basically, because we're just going to die. Like, it's unlikely we would be able to survive an Emrakul Strike anyway. So, like, we've been lucky. Like, aside from the previous round, like, I don't think that any of these matches, well, maybe the mono black that we faced in round 1, I think it was, like that, it could be like a penalty to play these, but in general, it's not that big of a deal. And they probably don't even care about this because they're like, well, I'm about to show and tell win. So, like, who cares if you got a little extra damage? But, you know, it's the best we can do. Once we had the Pyroblast, Pyroblast in, that'll be really good against their deck. Okay, so we'll ping them again. They still have tons of life. Okay, they pedal. They might just win now. Okay. So we haven't gotten lucky with Ancient Tomb being one of the lands that they use. That's a sit forward draw. That is a good card. So options. One, I think we just DRC here and then bolt them. And then we have Fire Blast up if it gets really close, but I don't think it's getting close enough. But I don't want to deploy another Bowmasters here. I want to get DRC online. Let's see. This gets her closer, but no, it doesn't. Yeah, if we Fire Blast, we do get Delirious. So next turn we could Orcish Bowmasters and Fire Blast. I'm trying to think of what I want to draw here that would be better than this, though. I can't really think of anything. I think I'll leave this. Let's do some math. So they're dropping to 10 here, and then next turn we're hitting them for 3. I actually do think this is better than Orcish Bowmasters next turn because it's 3 damage as opposed to 1. Yeah, so I'll leave this on there. And if we get another turn, we can win. Fire Blast does give us Delirium. Let's see. Yeah, 6 plus 4 plus... Yeah, they would be exactly dead. Now, they could just force one of these and stop it, but we will get... Okay, is this the show and tell? Okay, so we're going to put in Bowmasters, and then we're going to die, most likely. But if they try to cantrip, we might be able to kill them. Okay, Atraxa is very good, obviously. They don't have to attack. They may be able to do something else. Wait a second. If they make the mistake of drawing another card, we might be able to burn them out. Because we have Fire Blast plus Bolt. Okay. So they may fetch... The cards they got were Show and Tell, Omniscience, Force of Will, Misty Rainforest. So Force of Will, they have Force blue card. So we're not going to win. They go to discard. They discard Emrakul. Okay, so let's think about this. So we don't want to trigger Delirium. We could just kill this, but they will definitely force that. Here's what I think we need to do. So Force blue card. They're gaining 7 every turn cycle. If we get Delirium, then they're gaining 7 immediately. We attack with all these. It'll be a force block on this, but then they'll gain 7. They gain 7. We can negate 7, but unfortunately, they're going to know because we don't get Delirium until after Fire Blast hits. So if we attack, we can Fire Blast, but the problem is with us Fire Blasting, they do know the risk. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and spike them first, and then I'm going to go to combat. And I just won't bin anything that looks like the game's probably over here. That if I put that in the yard, the game's over because we have to DRC in. I basically just need them to screw up here. And then I'm going to attack all and see if they screw up. But I don't think they will. I could wait for them to attack. See, if we wait for them to attack, they're going to gain a bunch of life. And then, but the thing is, they're going to gain life every single turn cycle. They have vigilance, so we pretty much have to do this. And I don't think this will save us, but I will do this. We definitely don't want to Fire Blast. Okay, I think the game's over because they can just force this if they want, or they probably just survive it because we're hitting them for 5 plus 4, but they gain 7 and they've already got 6. So the game's over. They are going to force here. Okay, and that's the end of the game, unfortunately. Okay, so we can see, yeah, we got very close, but this is just too strong of a card. Yeah, and again, I don't think holding back was an option because they just gain 7 every turn. Okay, so Pyroblast comes in. Cards that we take out, I think, include Lava Spike, which is just... yeah, it's not like exceptional. What we need to do is we need to get like an insane Moonshadow start. I don't actually think they have any good sideboard cards against us. My instinct here is to... well, Fire Blast is really good. I kind of want to trim a Fire Blast. Like we only have 2, but we did see 2. So, which is making me think that we should only be playing 1 Fire Blast. Probably playing like another Lava Spike or something. I think I'm going to take it out. I'll just play on 1. And I think for the rest of the league, I'll probably be sideboarding 1 out. It's happened twice now already. We've had Fire Blast Collision, and it's super awkward. They're not going to be coming for our lands at all. It does make me kind of want to just trim a land completely. Yeah, let's do it. And I know that we had to like shuffle a couple times. Maybe I should have shuffled. I probably should have trimmed one of the Surveillance. This hand is freaking phenomenal. Let's keep it. This doesn't have Pyroblast, but we might draw it. Yeah, so somebody in comments said that like a deck, you can't call a deck with only 1 Fire Blast a burn deck. I couldn't disagree more. We have 40 points of damage, 40 points of direct damage in the deck right now. Actually, I'm not sure if that's the exact figure. That's how much there were in the previous iteration. I mean, that is definitely a burn deck if I've ever seen one. I know that like there might be like 50 in like a traditional burn deck or something like that, but we're like most of the way there. Okay, so I'll pay this life. Now we're going to Moonshadow. I guess I could play this out just in case. Like, I don't know what would happen here. They are pausing on each of these cards, but they could have just gotten up because I take a long time to make my decisions. Right, that's in. I shouldn't have played that out first. They're not gonna have like anything like days or anything. I just gave them more information for deciding whether they want to force the Moonshadow. Now we're gonna play this out. I shouldn't have done that. I should have DRC'd first, or like seen if I drew a DRC first. Because if I drew DRC, I would want to get it out and then trigger with a bobble. So that was a punt. But I will tighten up and I will be playing like perfectly after a few more leagues or near perfectly. Okay, so yeah, that's fine. I'm just going to play another one of these. We're just going to get all our damage on the table here. I'm going to go ahead and draw through this just in case. Okay, they have a Polluted Delta in hand. All right, so we're not doing a lot here, but we do get a card. Nethergoyf, that's something. I think we commit the Nethergoyf and then we use the burn last. They have the ability to turn 1 you, but it doesn't happen very often. Like Petal plus, okay, Ponder. I like Ponder. Petal plus Ancient Tomb is a turn 1 win. There's an argument for holding Nethergoyf just because we get it for free when they show and tell, but I think it's going to be good enough that it's worth playing out. If we find DRC, that'll be the one we lead with though, because that can turn all this into Moonshadow triggers, these instants. Petal, and they're passing. So next turn they could show and tell. They did not shuffle their Ponder, so bad things are afoot. Okay, this is pretty good. Let's go ahead and do this. So options. 1, we play out the Nethergoyf and then we bolt them. So we can hit them for 5, 8, and then double bolt is 14. I still think we Nethergoyf first. I do feel pretty dead here though. They force this, it's fantastic. I would love for them to force this. Okay, they don't force it. Let's go ahead and just chain lightning them. This is actually a consideration is that they can send this back because they are a red-blue deck. They are forcing that. Or they're thinking about it. Okay, no, never mind. They're not forcing it. What happens is their life total changes and then the spell finishes resolving because it has another thing that goes on the stack where they get to choose whether they want to bounce back. So they're dead on board. We can bolt them if they get Atraxa. Atraxa alone is not enough to block here. They need like Omniscience into Emrakul line, I think, to win. They're fetching to 7. But like they do play a couple Emrakuls. You know what? I am regretting my decision to play the Nethergoyf here. I think I should have just bolted. Because Yeah, there's the Omni. And I think that they win from here. Fury. That comes out and that does some damage. Okay. It's a good sideboard card. So this grows my other Moonshadow, which can't be blocked. It grows my Netherglyph as well. No, it doesn't grow my Netherglyph. All right. They're dead, I think. I'm going to go ahead and play this first just to get bigger. I kind of want to hold that just because it's yet another way to win. It does make sense to bolt here just to clear the path and do more damage in case they are able to take out our Moonshadow. They force. Okay, and they didn't have to pay for that. I'm going to come across with both. They'll lose their Fury. Moonshadow will grow on the second strike. There'll be a 1. This Fury will die. Netherglyph goes to the yard. Okay, Moonshadow's a 7/7. They have 1 life. It's up to them. Can they cantrip their way to victory? We got it. That felt good. And I do regret, again, I want to emphasize, I regret the sequencing. I should have bolted them. Because who cares if they counter our dude when we've got like a big Moonshadow on the table? They would have been so low in life. I don't think, and it just reduced the lines that they would have had available to them. So on the draw, I definitely don't want Blood Crypt or this Fire Blast. Let's run it back. Pyroblast is very good if we can find it. It stops, like they're not going to expect counter magic probably. They may expect it, but they're probably not going to shape a hand around us having Pyroblast. And by the way, this is precisely like why you play combo. So if you face a deck like this, you just normally destroy them. So the fact that we got a game is pretty heartening. But the theory is like combo beats aggro, aggro beats, mid-range, and mid-range beats combo? No, that's not really true. Tempo, I think. And then tempo gets beaten by mid-range, and then mid-range gets beaten by aggro. So if you want to think about it, it's like 4 different things. Okay, so just to be clear, like I think this is kind of like how I visualize it or conceptualize it. If you want to think of like 4, like mid-range might be like green-white depths, right? Or the black aggro deck that I play, which is kind of aggro, but it's also mid-range. Like what we're playing right now is the pure aggro, is the purest form of aggro, right? But mid-range generally beats tempo, but tempo beats combo. So it's kind of like this circle is kind of how I think of it. And so right now, what we're doing is like the worst matchup for aggro is basically a combo deck, I think. Leave comments with thoughts. This is a great hand. It says Pyroblast, Netherglyph. I'm going to keep this. I can lead with Netherglyph, and I can have the pedal up for the Pyroblast. And then we have the direct damage as well to finish off if we get time. But priority number 1 is going to be keeping Pyroblast up the entire time, because I don't think they're likely to be able to interact. They might have a force, but I'm not going to be hitting like stock up and stuff like that. I'm going to be hitting, maybe I hit a stock up. Okay, that's cool. So I'm going to go ahead and just play this out first. And before I show them the pedal, because if is that right? Actually, yeah, it might influence their decision to force here if they know that I've got more stuff. Let's play this out. Bobble comes out. Let's bobble them. Netherglyph grows. They have Ancient Tomb. Okay. So if they try to party next turn, I've got Pyro. We get our card. It's a Chain Lightning, which is a sorcery type. Ancient Tomb. Let's go ahead and try this. This will likely get countered, but it may not. This is the spell we need to stop. Okay, that worked. And now they've taken Chain Lightning damage, or they've taken Ancient Tomb damage. They may be able to just reroll. DRC is a great rip. I'm going to go ahead and play DRC. And then I'm going to cast the Chain Lightning to amp up the size of my Netherglyph. That Pyroblast was absolutely clutch. I'd like to shout out, again, the person who mentioned, like, yeah, you could probably put a bunch of Pyroblasts in here. Like, yep, that actually was a really good idea here. Street Wraith goes to the yard. We're growing. We are growing. Look at the size of this Netherglyph. Gonna hit for 5. They are very light on time here. They have to have another show and tell in hand. They don't have time to go find one. Yeah, they're dead on board. Unless they have force. But if they had force, they wouldn't have let us Pyroblast that. Ponder. They could find show and tell and then make a land drop and then still send it again. But they'll be okay. Okay. You're telling me there's a chance. Bowmasters is nice. I think I just come across and see what happens here. And then I guess I can just bolt here and then they're dead. And then I can Fire Blast if that doesn't work. We don't need the land. Okay, we got it. We beat them. Holy cow. What a freaking upset victory. That was incredible. We're 3-1. Final round, we're 3-1 up against a unknown opponent. I like this opening a lot. We can lead with Shadow. Got a lot of freaking lands, though. But these are fetches. Remember that. Like, these represent surveils. So I'll keep this. Also, we do have the Fire Blast, which we're likely... I mean, we're almost certainly going to use it. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. Again, unknown opponent. We could get comboed. They mulled a 5. Okay, so we're on oops, most likely. That's going to be another mold to oblivion to find leyline matchup if that's what we're up against. Nope, it's not oops. Okay, thank goodness. We're going to have an exciting game instead of a boring one. Okay, Swamp. Thoughtseize. Yeah, you can Thoughtseize my aggro deck. They don't know that that's what they're doing. But so I want to be clear. I'm not like making fun of them. In fact, I love this Swamp from Three Kingdoms. One of my favorites. Okay, so they did take the Nethergoyf, which is... kind of a questionable take here, but like maybe they have a Bowmaster, so this Moonshadow is going to be walking into death. Come on, give me a 0 drop. There we go. Yes. That is exactly the card we needed. So check this out. Play this out. Yeah, that's a new card. I didn't have that earlier, did I? Paid 2 life. Yes. Now we can play this. And do we want to give a pound of flesh to the Bowmaster now through playing the DRC, or do we want to wait? Because I do want to use this mana, but I think it's correct to wait. Because if they Bowmaster it, I just grow it, and then like, yeah, we burned a thing, but it's not the end of the world. Okay. Yeah. And then next turn we will be able to do a lot more, because we'll be able to like Fire Blast potentially to proc DRC and get Delirium to avoid Bowmaster killing us. Okay, interesting. So they definitely have a Bowmaster. They're on some sort of Esper build, which you can look for an Esper control build coming soon. So wait, we're definitely going to play this out first. Now I'm going to go like this, red, DRC. Okay, and they are attempting to do something here. Shielder's Edict. Okay, well, nothing I can do about that. That resolves. So I get my Moonshadow. It's my Moonshadow trigger. It sees itself on the way out. I'll never get used to that. Okay, and now I am going to go ahead and play this. I should Surveil first. I am going to fetch Surveil because I'm not going to draw this. Like, I'll draw this card, but it's not going to be in time for the turn cycle. So we've got Theater. I'll bin a Bauble. Unfortunately, that doesn't help us with Delirium. We do need to get Delirium to escape the clutches of Bowmaster here. I guess technically I can Fire Blast to escape their clutches, but I don't really want to do that. Okay, that's another dead draw that we just avoided, which is nice. Now I will just come over here. They're drawing a Brainstorm. That's good to know about. Unfortunately, we don't have a Bowmaster of our own. We will just chill. And again, if they Bowmasters, I'll absolutely Fire Blast. Okay, now we have a Bowmasters. Loving it. They Brainstorm, unfortunately, before we were able to use our Bowmasters. So now I'm not wanting to use Fire Blast because then I won't be able to play Bowmaster, but I do think it's worth saving. And they may just have like a Plow or something instead. That sucks. Yep, that works. Okay. So they don't know about the Bowmasters. We can chill. I can kind of bait out the Bowmasters with this. I'll do that. We do have Nethergoyf in the yard. We're not quite... Like, again, I don't want to use Fire Blast just to get a type in my yard. They're drawing Force. I think we wait. They could force... They're down to 1 card over there. We're getting a card. Let's see what we draw. Okay, another land, which does help us with Fire Blast and bringing back Nethergoyf, but it's not great. All right, I'm not going to just chill. I'm going to go ahead and do this. And they can force this if they want to pitch their 1 blue card. Brainstorm, that's fine. It sucks. But like, they already brainstormed. I think they were less likely to have the second one. Okay, so we'll go ahead and ping. They are keeping. I am going to go ahead and fetch Surveil. Theater. Let's get... That is... I definitely want to keep that. That is good action. So we'll play this out. I'll play this out. Huh. I could just get Nethergoyf out of the yard right now. I think it's fine to go to combat first, though. See what they do. But I do think that getting Nethergoyf out of the yard is probably what I want to do here. And in order to do that, I have to Fire Blast first. But he'll still be like a 3-4, I think. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, there's nothing I'm going to find that's going to change that. Okay. So I am going to go ahead and fetch it and get the last land out of my deck, which does do 2 damage to me, unfortunately. Oh, I actually have one more land after this. Yes, I'll pay the life. Go black, 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 I guess, before I do this. They're down to one card. It's Fire Blast. I'll sack these two. These Surveil. Street Wraith goes to the yard. They take 4. We're delirious temporarily. Another way if I'm going to take out this, 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 this. Done. Okay, we've got a 3-4 and a 1-1, and this will get delirious again if we find another instant. But it's worth it to just get this on the table. Okay, Ponder. Okay. So they have chosen not to shuffle their Ponder. This could be a Bowmasters of their own. Okay, that's great. So I'm just going to come across with everything. And we have Bowmasters, but we don't want them to know that until they've cleared one of our other cards. That's fine. And now I can bring in the Bowmasters and do a little bit more damage here. So we essentially got card advantage in our deck that doesn't have card advantage. By virtue of being able to bring that Bowmaster back from the grave. Because they had to use the removal on that. They're not dead on board, but they didn't keep their cards. So it's possible they have a cantrip or something here. Stock up, that's fine. It's a good card. Harmony Woods, she's been playing a lot of this kind of Grixis style stock up deck with stock up as the main draw card instead of other cards. We just need a burn spell and then the game's over, I think. Even if they counter it. Yeah, there we go. And this should get Delirium, I believe. Yeah, they force here, but I think that gives me Delirium. Yeah, so they're dead. Good game. Okay, cool. So we could bring in Pyro here. They're likely another a Barrowgoyf deck. I think I'm going to basically treat it similar to how we boarded against Blue-Black. I'll take out the Lava Spikes. I'll take out one of the Fire Blasts. Again, I do believe that's a deck building mistake to have 2 Fire Blasts. It's worth noting that even when we Fire Blasted in the game against the winning line where we burned out the Sneak and Show opponent, Wing Zero NFC, FNC, against them, any sort of burn would have been fine. We didn't need the second Fire Blast. So I'm almost certainly just going to take this Fire Blast and change it, upgrade it, in my opinion, to just being like a Bolt Wave. Or actually, it'll be Lava Spike, number 3. So they are likely playing Wasteland. They didn't play a Wasteland. We could take a chance on it. We're on the draw, so we get to see extra cards. I think we can cut a land. I'll cut a Blood Crypt. And I think we're just doing 2 and 2 of the Pyroblast and the Fatal Push. If we learn more about their deck, we can board in more heavily for the final game. Hopefully there won't be a final game because this hand is nutty. Yeah, so we can get Moonshadow big by putting the bobble out. I probably just want to get the bobble out first anyway. Yeah, I'm going to play the bobble out and I'm just going to crack it before they can Bowmaster me. And they made Daze here and that's fine. So Moonshadow, pretty non-threatening, right? You don't want to daze this. Okay, and now we can go ahead and bobble and we can grow it out of Bowmaster range. And we can also avoid Bowmaster pinging us. All right. And we're halfway to Delirium. Okay, they're drawing a Polluted Delta that's good to know about, but they're probably just going to shuffle Surveil here. They did Mold to 6, so they are on the play. So they are disadvantaged in terms of card volume. Undercity Sewers. Surveilling a Bowmaster. Okay, because we got big, they were like, yeah, it's too late for Bowmaster. I definitely hear that. And this Moonshadow is going to be good too. Because we can Moonshadow into DRC, and if they counter anything, it'll further amp up our interaction. This is Prismatic Ending on our Moonshadow. You can tell because they like tap, and then you can see they're paying mana. It's like, I don't know. I play a lot of MTGO. I'm not psychic. Okay, so this is fine. So what I think, we do want to get rid of this because this is a card draw engine. Okay, Street Wraith. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start with this Moonshadow, and then I can attempt to bolt, and then I'll at least have a threat on the table. And if they survive the bolt, it's a pity. Let's go ahead and Street Wraith now, because I might find a second land, or a petal. Okay, I did find a land actually, which is not what I wanted to find. All right, so we're going to go get the land here, and I am just going to get this off the table. I am worried very much about Barrowgoyf. And you could say, oh, you could double bolt Barrowgoyf, but like I'm going to deal with the threat that's on the table right in front of me right now. Okay, we got it. All right. So now they're down to 3 cards. They don't have a card draw engine. But Barragoyf just wrecks us. Absolutely wrecks us because we haven't found a Fatal Push yet. Brainstorm is fine. All right. So they brainstormed and they kept a land. They haven't shuffled yet. They may very well have a plow. Okay, so I think we start with... I'm tempted to start with DRC because she's delirious, and then maybe we just play this out. But we don't actually have an ETB untapped land, so we're not pretending to do anything. I think what I do is I DRC. Like, we could pretend if we think they're going to daze, and then we play this out, and they're like, oh, they're not going to daze now. Hydroblast. All right, well, Moonshadow sees that. I guess I'll go ahead and play this Raucous Theater out just to see if I can get something else that triggers Moonshadow. I do. That's great. Again, none of this is particularly going to matter if they just have Barragoyf. Barragoyf will be probably just a 4/5, but like it'll gain life faster than Moonshadow can take life away. I guess the question is, do we want to just go ahead and Chain Lightning them here? I don't think we do. Because we may be able to use this on like a Bowmaster. Like let's say they have a Bowmaster of their own or like another Tomio. Yeah, I'm just going to chill. I'm just trying to play very carefully here because they almost certainly have access to both Murktide and Barragoyf here. There he is. 5/6. We need Fatal Push stat. That's literally like the best draw in our deck, I think. I don't think we're going to... Like, I don't want to give up my Moonshadow. Ah! Well, we might be able to race, but I think it's extremely unlikely. Actually, if we're going to race, that's a pretty good card to race with. I am kind of tempted to just Bowmaster now because then we... If they counter it, then we get the Moonshadow trigger. And this way they can't just... Like if they find removal, they're absolutely going to go after Moonshadow. They're not going to go after this, I don't think. Okay, this is good for us. Now we'll just hit for 5, and they'll gain the life back when Barry hits this. We're drawing double bolts, so we may be able to finish them next turn. Actually, I'm not sure that that's the case, but we will be able to hit them for fetch, bolt. I'm not going to let this through. I think it'd be irresponsible. I mean, it's 1 extra damage, but like they could find so many different things. They could find another Barragoyf here. Right now they only have 3 cards in their hand. They gain 5, they go up to 12. They are technically dead on board. I'm going to play this out. I'm going to bolt them. This may change how I'm attacking is the reason I'm doing it now. Because I may have to hold the Bowmaster back. Okay, they take it. I think I attack and then we can just fetch. And then we bolt them again. I'm trying to think, is there any reason? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do it now. Just to see. They do force that. Okay. So I think here, they're hellbent. We attack for 7. They get a trigger. They may find a blocker, but they'll have already tapped their Moonshadow. I think I'm going to go all in. And then I'll just crack this here. We'll take some damage. There's nothing to find. But that's 7 damage. They're at 1. We got so close. If they can plow this, then they're going to win. They could find a Bowmaster, which would produce enough blockers. Actually, that would be pretty catastrophic. I still stand by my decision here. Maybe it was a punt. Maybe I needed to keep the Bowmaster back. They do find the Bowmaster, so I think we lose. They also have Snapcaster, Prismatic Ending. Yeah, good game. Let's see. So that's gone. Okay. Oh, they had that in addition to the Snapcaster. Okay. So they do have Snapcaster in hand. I don't think we can draw anything here. Yeah, good game. All right, game 3. Yeah, it's a tough matchup because they have so much removal and they have Barragoyf. I think this is where we're really going to struggle. I think we do want the 3rd Fatal Push. And I'll just reduce the amount of Chain Lightnings I have a little bit. And we'll bring in the Pyros too. 3 Pyros, 3 pushes. Again, it sucks to be so passive, especially on the play. I'm going to take out the Fire Blast. I mean, it just doesn't feel right. Yeah. I'd rather have a Chain Lightning. Because this way we have more types. We do need sorceries. I'll try that. I probably should put a land back in on the play, but we haven't got wasted at all. I'm going to leave it out. It wouldn't have been good there. We had plenty of land. Yeah, our opponent hasn't wasted us at all. So let's see if we can get an extremely aggressive Moonshadow hand to overwhelm their control deck. This is about as good as we can probably hope for. It is Glass Cannony. I'll keep it. It's a lot of land. And a single Prismatic Ending, and we basically have nothing going on. They mulled a 6. Again, like I think this is a really rough matchup. Way worse than the blue-black tempo that we played earlier, because this is like a full-on control deck. Like, we don't care about wasting and dazing and stuff like that generally, but we do care about having a whole bunch of white removal. All right, so let's go ahead and Moonshadow here. Bubble. Check your top. They're drawing an Underground Sea. I'll just get more information during their upkeep. I don't think there's any reason to wait or to hurry. All right, it'll actually be during the draw step after they draw. We draw a 4th land. Okay, I don't think we're winning, unfortunately. That was a really bad rip. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at what they're drawing. Yeah, that was just a catastrophically bad rip. And again, I want to emphasize, we have 15 lands. Okay, and they've got a Bowmaster coming, which is a double blocker. Underground Sea. Okay, no plays. We had to beat them before Barrowglyph becomes viable like it did last game. So we got through the bubbles before their cards came online, which is nice. Chain Lightning is not good. Not good at all. Sadly, I think what we're going to do here is we're just going to fetch Surveil and try to hit something better. What's our card for turn? Oh my goodness, deck! Come on! Oh my goodness, final match. We're just hitting our fail rate. Like, I cut a land. We're at, I think, 15 lands, and we've just drawn them. So this will happen in Magic. This is just part of the game, unfortunately. Yeah, I'll Surveil and maybe this grows, but I'm not hopeful that we can beat them with this many lands. Like, we don't really have a way to get up on land. We can't take advantage of having redundant lands. I mean, sadly, I need to find threats. This isn't good enough. Is it? Let's see. We bolt them twice. We can bolt them 3 times. I'm just not convinced. I don't believe in it. I believe we just need to find threats. Let's go ahead and go across here. I'll just hold my bolts for later because I've got plenty of mana. Yeah, I'm just so tilted that we drew this way. But I mean, I kept like a 3-lander, I think. So yeah, that's a risk you take. There's Tommy. They brainstorm. It's pretty sad. Okay, they're not doing that. I might do it like block and then brainstorm. So I think I'm going to Chain Lightning and then I could just kill it in combat. But that doesn't feel good. Or I could just, yeah, I think I'm going to fetch Surveil first. Get one more land out of my deck. They don't have white mana. They may just not have drawn it, which is a huge blessing if that's the case. Okay, that is going to stay on top of my deck. I do want, like, it's worth the 3 damage to just get this off the table so they don't have a card draw engine. Okay, and they are going to brainstorm here, which is fine. I'll just, oh, they're hydroblasting it. Actually, that's totally fine. Okay, and now they're tapped out, so I think I just have to finish it off, sadly. We did use a lot of resources there, but this is going to be very difficult to kill later. Okay, and we ding dong, the witch is dead. Let's come across. So we've got Fatal Push, and we have the ability to trigger Revolt, although we don't have the ability to fetch a land if they are on Berry here. So they have white mana now, so I think our Moonshadow is probably gone. It's just a question, like, I want them to lead with Barrowglyph, but it looks like they're just holding. So they're being smart and not being greedy. Okay, so we draw the Fatal Push. I'll just play this out so we have Revolt on demand, and then we're going to come across. This will get either double blocked or probably just killed. Let's see. I can't fetch, unfortunately. So if I go ahead and bolt here, bolt the dude, I'm just going to let them do it and then double block if they want to do that. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I like the flexibility of holding the bolt for the surprise element and stuff. All right, and we'll just pass with Revolt up. Again, I would love to grow this, but I think there's a good chance I'll get to grow it here. But like maybe they don't have white removal because like why not use it there? Okay, now they have white mana for sure. Please play a Barrowglyph that I can just kill. Stock up. I can't stop that. Please don't find a plow. And this is the risk. Like sometimes they won't have the Barrowglyph, but if they do have the Barrowglyph, this just saves you from losing the game. Okay, so like most likely they just have a bolt on top or a plow. Go ahead and come across here. Now we're really drawing more of these than we'd like to. I'm just going to hold cards in my hand to look intimidating, but I really feel hopeless here. I don't have another way to turn on Revolt just in case they play it. Like, I mean, I could fetch to get the extra damage. It is consequential. I'm just going to be disciplined and not do it. It doesn't change the clock. Wow, they didn't have it. Okay. I'm trying to think if there's some situation where it makes sense to play this out. I think it does. I'll just play it up tapped. Yeah, like there might be some crazy situation where they've got like Spell Pierce or something. They're going to fetch Surveil here to 5. And if I kept one of these bolts, they'd be dead right now. But we didn't know that at the time. Okay, they're fetching to 5. They surveil. This is why James Kisao doesn't play Fatal Push. He likes to play Lightning Bolts in his Grixis control deck because these are often dead, but Bolt's never dead. Bolt always has a target. It's a lot of mana. And I can even double push here if they have the threat. It's a Murktide. So I can push the other thing, and then Murktide won't be able to block. I may have to push both sides of a Bowmasters here. Oh, what's this? They have both. They have both. They're keeping cards up. Okay, this is fine. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Ouch. I could try to Fatal Push here before they know. I did just turn on Revolt. And this is the end step. They can't play at the Merc now. Okay, they must have removal. Okay, so we just won't find anything. Now Fatal Push is pretty stinky if they just have a plow to remove this. Oh, what a horrible draw. What a horrible draw. Come on, deck. All right, let's go ahead and go across. If they have Bowmasters, I can bolt one of them out of the way. They probably do. I'll push one of them out of the way before they can block. This comes in. That's fine. I'm just going to push after damage. Now, if they have exactly force, I still have bolt. They said, GG's. Agreed. Those were great games. I feel very lucky to have beaten your deck there. There's a 4-1. Again, shout out to everybody who encouraged me to put Pyro in the side. It was pretty good. I mean, obviously it saved us from losing against Show and Tell, so it did save us. It didn't even come up in that final match. My UI is completely lagging. Some observations. First, again, I am on Team 1 Fire Blast, and I'm on Team 3 Lava Spikes. I think that's the improvement I make. Sideboard felt great. We didn't get to use the Smash Smithereens. Maybe, I think Pyroblast is so strong that you could justify playing 4 of them. Fatal Push definitely felt stinky, like in multiples. We had the bolt anyway, so we could have gotten through it. But if this had just been a bolt, like I think we were cutting bolts to do it, then we wouldn't have even had to sweat it. We could have just bolted them out. You could take a Fire Blast completely and just play Lava Spike, but there are situations where you're just like, yeah, and it feels so good. So I don't have any other suggestions for this deck. Like it feels like it's nearing completion. So that was like basically a 4-1 and right before it a 3-2. And again, this is a $500 deck. Like if you have Badlands, just play those, and it becomes like a $1,800 deck. But it's better. But like for $500, this is way better than traditional burn. Like I'm sorry, but traditional burn, I've tried to make it work with like the janky Goblin Guides and Eidolon and Swift Spear. There's a Prowess deck that I saw Tony Scapone play a few months back that was pretty good, but it's not this good. It's not even close to this good. So the big unlock was the printing of Moonshadow. I hope you've seen, there was a game that we got Moonshadow to 7/7 on turn 1. Turn 1, Menace 7/7. Granted, we had to spend like our entire hand basically to do it, and we still lost that game, which was, shocking and a little bit disappointing. But still, like, that's pretty insane. That's pretty insane. And it's easy to think of like we flooded out really hard in several of the games, which, statistically we shouldn't, but we will occasionally. When you have 15 lands, you don't expect to draw 7 lands, right? But we did. So, that's going to happen sometimes. I think we may have drawn 6. But trust in the fact that it's like low curve. Again, we didn't have to face Chalice, which is a beating. Our one round against Mono Black where they should have brought in Leyline and mold to it. It is a beating against us, and there's not a lot we can do, but we can still burn them out. And Bowmasters gives us that angle. Bowmaster was really good through the entire league. I definitely think that if you're going to play any 2-drop, you should play Bowmaster. Don't play Douthie. Douthie is tempting because he has evasion, but I just don't think he's nearly as good of a card as Orcish Bowmasters. And also, in theory, you can always play Douthie out. Every single land in our deck produces black, right? So you could easily just play Douthie instead of Orcish Bowmasters. But what I don't want you to do is take out the Leyline of the Void and replace it with Douthie. Leyline is so important, and I think we showed that in the Dredge. Like, having that on the table, just completely solo Dredge. And it's a heck of a card. So other thoughts on the list, leave feedback on my play. There are like minor missequencing and stuff. I do think this is a lot easier of a deck to play. And I think aggro in general is a lot easier to play than the other archetypes. Let me pull them up. So I had to rank these by difficulty. I'd say tempo is the hardest, mid-range, And then, you could say, control is in here maybe. But mid-range / control, I think, is more appropriate. Aggro does often beat control. Yeah. I mean, but I think this is the highest skill tempo. Combo is pretty hard to play. I don't play combo, but tempo, you're trying to win with like scraps, basically. People are like, oh, I lost to Delver. Well, you should be glad that you're losing to Delver and not just losing to Oops All Spells. Like, that deck is so easy to play. So, like, a high skill deck would be what my friend Matthew Basket plays, which is the Epic Storm. And I got some excellent games in last night with him. Of course, I was playing my Esper deck that had, Bowmasters and Thoughtseizes and Prismatic Endings and stuff. So Prismatic Ending, your Leyline, like lots of shenanigans like that. Or not the Leyline, the LED, Lion's Eye Diamond is what I meant to say. But yeah, I mean, like, if you're looking to get into Legacy, I would say this is a pretty good option. The other good option is my Mono Black option. There's also a Mono Blue option that's pretty cheap. I wouldn't necessarily go with Mono White. I do have some leagues that are probably live by now with Mono White. I love Mono White, but it's just so rough against combo. But like, just look at the list again, and not to just talk too much about. I'm always self-conscious that I'm talking way too much, and like, you're like, okay, let's move on with our day. That was a fun league, but like, you don't have to have this giant, debrief at the end. But it is helpful for me to like mentally decompress. So Nethergoyf continues to be exceptional. Moonshadow, we don't need to say anything about this card. This is a Legacy staple. If you haven't gotten these, you should get them if you're an aggro gamer. I don't think they work in tempo. I tried that. You can watch the league where I tried to get them to work. But like, frankly, like, you're just better off playing Delver or playing the Boomerang Basics plus Storm Chaser talent. Storm Chaser talent. Like, I think that's better than trying to jam Moonshadow, because then you have to add a third color. The main thing I've observed recently is just it's really hard to make 3-color work. Beanstalk, even like the Bant Beanstalk decks, like, you're barely splashing, but it, like, if you look at the mana base, it looks pretty sketch just to have the 4 beans in your deck. And I'm really high on the blue-white, Felia plus maybe even Stoneblade lists. I'm not sure. I'm not completely sold on Stoneforge, even though I love her. I'm just not sure if she's good enough. Random musings about the meta and everything, but like, I'm having such a good time. And the fact that this aggro deck is $500, the fact that Blood Crypt hurting us when it came into play almost never mattered. It's pretty cool, right? Like, this is basically, for most intents and purposes, as cheap as the mono red version. It's a couple $100 more, but like, in the grand scheme of things, it's extremely affordable. It's cheaper than most modern decks, I think. So you don't have to have like the, fancy fetches and stuff like that. You could even go down on fetches if you're really worried. You could play like a basic mountain or a basic swamp. I do think it's better to just have all your lands tapped for all your colors. I probably would never play a basic swamp, and the reason is, if you're going to play Fire Blast. If you take out Fire Blast, then you don't really need to worry about that. But I would probably keep this type of mana base that is just aggressively fetching, duels. And Rockets Theater, this did come up a few times where it was like, oh no, we drew, this hand would be a keep if this were an untapped land, right? That does come up sometimes, and some people might be wondering why I'm even playing 2 of them. But the ability to double buff Moonshadow with a single fetch is pretty good. And a lot of times you do draw excess lands, and this is one of the few decks that's like really aggro with a low land count where I would actually encourage you to play this. Like, another example would be like the Epic Storm or something, where you just need as much card selection as you can get, and you're frequently not doing anything. This game, like this deck, you're almost always doing interesting stuff turn 1, or you're just shipping the hand. But because you're shipping the hand, we mulliganed a lot. I think we even mulliganed to 4 in one of the games, and I can't remember if we won that game, but like, I remember it being a lot closer than I expected it to be, considering we'd mulled to 4. That might have been the previous league, but like, this deck does mulligan really well, because really all you need is a Moonshadow. And like, you always need a threat. Don't keep any hands without threats. Don't hope that your baubles are going to draw you into a Moonshadow. Like, keep mulligan until you have a threat. But if you look, we've got really Bowmasters is a threat. It's just not a very aggressive threat, but like 16 threats, but like 12 threats you really want in your opener. And definitely Moonshadow is the chief among them. Like, always lead with Moonshadow. then get your DRC or your Nethergoyf out. Like, it may seem counterintuitive because it may feel like Nethergoyf is going to be hitting for more the subsequent turn, but you do want to just start growing your Moonshadow ASAP. So that is all I have for you. I hope you enjoy playing this deck. Again, I encourage you to get it in paper and play with it. I haven't played with it in paper, but I have all the cards now. I actually had the Badlands. I need to get the Blood Crypts so I can play the budget version in paper. But I'm going to do that, and I'm going to have fun, and I think you'll have fun with it too. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.